Dear Jan Schemuth, thank you so much for being with us today. You are a very eminent colleague of us. We know each other for some time and we collaborated. You worked in Deutsche Bank for like 8 years. Then comes your times in BMW and finally GM, General Manager for Retail Steering. And you are now running, Managing Director of RPC, Retail Performance Company, a very important consultancy organization. Could you please introduce the journey of RPC, and also could you please share with us your observations about how this economic downturn affecting businesses?
Yeah, I'm happy to do so, Atesh. So thank you for inviting me. And I remember well the first time we have met. So it's been quite a while, and the time and the world has changed a lot since then. So just quickly to the journey of RPC. RPC is like 6 to 7 years old now. Founding mission was to help BMW and support BMW with consulting services, with training services on the retail end. So our focus has always been the customer and the retail. The Corona challenge at the moment is one of the biggest challenges we've ever seen. And a lot of the younger managers never experienced such a crisis and such a deep impact that has it on a global basis. So I think that is quite unique. But as we all understand it, it's a dramatic impact. Yeah?
Dramatic impact.
If you just look on the GDPs, yeah, and that in Germany we will be about 7% down, and globally like 3 or 4%. That's a huge one, and the recovery, from my point of view, my observation, and that is what most of our clients think now, is not in a V shape. So you have the crisis and you go back to normal. That probably is not going to happen, but there will be more like an L-shaped, where we go down and then the recovery will take some time, and maybe will take a couple of years. So if you look into the automotive industry, we understand that they plan with like 3 to 4 years of recovery back onto the level they have been in 2019. Which affects employment, which affects the companies, which impacts the society and everything. So that's a big thing.
Thanks so much. Jan, I would like to ask you to elaborate on customer experience, please, because especially these times, it has been so much important, but the relevance of customer experience management proactively, in my opinion, is so key issue. And what can you suggest?
That's also an interesting question, Atesh, because, you know, as RPC, we believe in customer experience, and everybody confirms it's an important topic. But in these days, and especially maybe in the recovery phase later, it has gained even more importance from my point of view. Because one thing I think we all can agree on is that the customers has changed. They change their expectations. They want safety in a shop, or they want a digital sales channel. So their expectations are, I would say, different to prior crisis mode. The buying behavior has changed. Yeah, they shifted much more of stuff into e-commerce channels and into online, and so the what they buy and also the how they buy has changed a lot, and that drives probably the importance of a professional customer experience management. And so to say, the overarching line is digital. So yes. Not the CIO or not the CTO, or nobody managed the transformation, but Corona forced us to do the transformation, and it served as an accelerator in the corporates, I would say. 4 points, Atesh.
Here, the change, the real effect will come from the C-suite, C-level people, because those are the decision makers. Those are the people who are running their companies. Do you think that they are equipped in the way that you described? Do you think that they are their mindset is there?
I think you see both. I think you see great managers on C-level who either are still young, so you think about the founders, the startups and the digital companies, they probably learned that by heart right from the beginning with digital means, and they run the transformation. The second group of people probably is those guys who intellectually have understood that it is a necessity to go that way, and then they drive the decision more or less. And finally, maybe there's the ones who hear about it but still don't believe in it, and maybe they still are too hesitant. And that is what we also in our daily work, we see that they talk about digital and customer, but their decisions and the final consequence in driving impact in the company sometimes is not there. They wait too long. They have not understood the value of data. They don't collect the data. They are hesitant. And I think that is quite a crucial phase in a company now. If you're still struggling in what to do because the time's running out, you need to act now.
Yes, exactly. And from our point of view, the profession of consultancy is also evolving. We are reinventing our own profession in order to help and add value those C-suite managers, C-level people to better run their companies.
Yeah, I would agree, Atesh. I think there is all industries affected by digitalization, but now also with the crisis mode. So that is not different to the consulting industry. But I think the thing that this industry, our industry, need to prove now is that we are able to help clients in a very fast and very flexible way, because their problems have changed. So we no longer can come up with our standard approaches and say, well, this is a great product, or maybe you need this one now, but really to understand what helps them quickly.
Exactly.
And you know, we're talking about C-suite and maybe in bigger corporations. They need to find the budgets and so on, and that all takes time. So how can we be able to react quickly, understand the needs, help our clients in prioritization, and support them in surviving the crisis, and then gaining more strength afterwards. That probably is an important thing. The other thing is that I think the very traditional services that the consulting industry offered, and we did the same, strategy development, implementation, and so on, the evergreens, I would call it, they are still relevant. Cost structure optimization, or flexibility in processes, flexibility in the organization, adopting to change and make that happen in the company.
Exactly.
That has been the consulting topics since the early beginnings, I would say. So they are still relevant. Well, I would even say they are more relevant than ever, probably.
But maybe formats will be changing. The way of doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see we're having this conference. We used to have that at your table and having a glass of tea, but now we're in a digital format. And that probably is another thing that has changed. We're no longer sitting at the client desks all day and doing the work together. But we need to find ways on doing this remotely and then digital via Teams or via the usual software solutions and then broadcasting solutions in the internet. And also for the staff, it has changed. So our consultants, they went to the client side on Monday morning and they got back Friday night. So now they are a bit more, they're working from home and doing the analysis. Then they have a video call with the C-suite and helping them and explaining the advice we give. Then maybe they will be traveling and having a workshop. So all those formats on how we work together with the client and how we work within the company, that has changed. And I don't think it's going to be back to the old days. This is what we call the new normal, probably.
Jan, thank you so much being part of our initiative in order to better understand the dynamics. And before the closure, would you like to make a final comment?
But I would say, I would encourage the industry, ourselves, as well as the clients to don't hesitate and don't be frustrated what's going on. It's horrible what happens to people, to the families, and so that is horrible stories. However, as you mentioned in the beginning, there always is an opportunity in itself. So grab the opportunities, don't be too hesitant, give it a try. Trial and error is one of the strategies for the future, because we don't know what the future brings. So you need to be adaptive, flexible, give it a try, learn from the failures and mistake, and then make the next steps. And maybe that is a more relevant strategy or way of working than it used to be. That would be my final comment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Atesh. Thanks for the initiative.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.